Okay, I will start the lesson today. Good afternoon to all. So last class we have discussed somewhat about the conductors, those like having electromagnetic waves in mediums, like having the total four conditions. Those four conditions are like having in free space, and then lossless dielectrical medium, and then lossy dielectrical medium, and then having other one is good conductor. Okay, so these all four conditions, how that electromagnetic waves going to travel, and how we are going to consider the permittivity and then permeability. So we have seen the three conditions that is going to involve in the electromagnetic waves, that free space, and then lossless dielectrical medium, and then lossy dielectrical medium. Okay, so those we have seen it. Now today we'll see about the good conductor. So how that electromagnetic waves is going to travel in the good conductor. So actually when we consider the good conductor, and this conductivity is very high, so we can say that in order of 10 to the power of 7, that is mho per meter. So it is conductivity is very high. So we can say that, so for example, that is copper, aluminum, and gold. All these things having that good conductivity. Okay. So for this region, for good conductor, we can say that sigma by omega epsilon, that is greater than 1. So this one is having for good conductor. So in this once it is going to travel that waves into such mediums like aluminum, copper, and gold. So need to be calculated what will be that propagation constant, and then how much it is going to attenuate it, and then what is the phase constant, and then what is that impedances and wavelength. So such things to be calculated here. So before considering this good conductor, so let us take that which is having very conductivity, that sigma is very high. So for this region, let us calculate one by one, having propagation constant, attenuation constant, and phase constant, and so on. Okay, so let us discuss now here propagation constant, which we are using that equation for propagation constant, that is going to involve the real part and then imaginary part, that equal to under root of j omega mu of sigma plus j omega epsilon. Okay, so by having this equation, you can neglect this omega epsilon, because conduction is very high. So conduction is that conductivity sigma is very high, that is compared to the frequency and then permittivity. So we can neglect this imaginary term having completely in this equation. So remaining we can write that propagation constant gamma is equal to under root of j omega mu and sigma. Okay, say j omega mu and sigma. So where j omega mu and sigma, so further we need to calculate what is mean having that imaginary function, which is going to involve that. So under root, if I take constant here, which is division with separation of in the root, that is omega mu and sigma one side. Then if I take that under root of the j, so which is nothing but j is nothing but which going to have that angle of the 90 degree. Okay, so this angle of 90 degree, if you put into this into root, so if you consider out of the root of angle of 90 degree, so we can take that under root of omega mu and sigma, so angle of the 45 degree, which is half of the this 90 degree here.
Sir, how 45 degrees, sir?
Yeah, under root 90 degree, which you take after out of the root, that formula in mathematical will become as half it is in a degree. Okay,
Sir,
so
but
we
it
will
is,
so we'll get half of the 45 degree. So this is a mathematical expression form.
sir, but in calc it is not showing, sir.
Not in calculator. Calculator you will not get this equation, you have to see that in mathematical expression. I think you have not seen any of the from angle of the 90 degree while taking under root. So this is one form of the under root. If you take that angle 90 degree, it will be half. Okay, so
Okay.
that will get 45 degree. This is one form, mathematical form it is. Okay. So now after considering this half angle 45 degree, so further you can simplify that angle 45 degree in terms of the cos and then sine. You can write it as cos 45 degree plus j sine 45 degree. Okay. And further cos 45 is 1 by root 2 and sine 45 1 by root 2. So you can write imaginary term plus real term. So further, if we simplify this equation uh, in terms of the completely under root, so I'm writing omega as 2 pi f, that radian per second as a frequency, mu and sigma over upon 1 by root 2 if I take common, 1 plus j into 1 here. Okay. So further, if I simplify this, so multiply this completely 2 pi f mu sigma into this angle 45 degree. So which is 1 by root 2 and this is also root 2 get cancelled. So remaining functions which having pi f mu, so which you get here pi f mu sigma and plus j, which is other same thing of multiplication pi f mu sigma. Okay. The same term you will get it here. Pi f mu sigma plus j pi f mu sigma. Only imaginary term. Now you can calculate for good conductor what will be that attenuation constant and then having a phase constant. So you can see that here in a good conductor both attenuation constant and then phase constant both are same here. Okay. So attenuation constant and phase constant both are same for the good conductor where wave is going to travel such mediums here. So this one we can calculate for good conductor having directly proportional to which having frequency and that depending on the conductivity. Okay. So attenuation is going to have directly proportional to frequency and then conductivity, as well as phase constant also directly proportional to that frequency and then conductivity, which that wave is going to travel to the medium, that is a good conductor. So this you can calculate attenuation constant and phase constant. Now here that is going to depend more thing. Both are equal here, and you can simplify that what is alpha and what is beta. And here is main thing depends that wave, how much frequency that is going to travel, and then that conductivity, how much that conductivity is having to the that particular medium. Okay. So further, if we consider that is you can calculate for the attenuation constant and phase constant. Now similar way we can calculate intrinsic impedance also. So intrinsic impedance for the any of the conductor which having good conductivity, that intrinsic impedance eta is equal to under root of j omega mu by sigma plus j omega epsilon. Okay. So you can neglect here conductivity, frequency and then permittivity, because conductivity is very high, which is greater than omega and epsilon here. So after neglecting this frequency, so we can calculate intrinsic impedance. Eta is equal to under root of j omega mu by sigma. So similar way, now you can take the j simplification here. That's j simplification under root of angle 90 degree, which is having a angle 45 degree. I think this term is not there, you can neglect. Okay. So angle 45 degree, which is nothing but cos 45 degree plus j sin 45 degree. Okay. So j under root j I can write directly 1 by under root plus j into 1 by under root 2. So you can write this function in the intrinsic impedance after taking under root j. So under root of omega, then mu by sigma 1 by root 2 plus j into 1 by root 2, which also equal to the omega mu by 2 into sigma. So you can take this completely under root after taking 1 by root 2 common from this equation. So it is also in into the root that 2. So it will come to denominator here. Then having 1 plus j into 1. So this one is completely having for intrinsic impedance. And further, if you want to simplify, you can simplify it here, which in terms of the frequency, that 2 pi f, if you omega, if you write it 2 pi f mu by 2 into sigma, so 1 plus j into 1, which equal to the under root of pi f mu by sigma, having 1 plus j into 1. Okay, so here we are going to learn one good concept about skin effect. Why it is called skin effect? Now we are going to study that main thing, having that because of having good conductivity. So here, let us consider that waveform in a electric field is traveling in the z direction. Okay, so when after considering electric field in x-axis, so now that waveform is going to travel in the positive z direction. So I'm not considering that negative z direction. Let us consider here that wave is going to travel in the completely as a positive z direction, as shown in the figure here. Okay, now let us take that how much that conductivity having, that when that wave travels in a good conductor, that conductivity is very high, and then attenuation constant alpha is also very high, because conductivity is very high. So that alpha, because conductivity is directly proportional to your attenuation constant. So if it is conductivity is very high, then your alpha is also very high. So that attenuation constant will also propagate into that medium is also very high. So how much it is going to travel that? So because conductivity is high and then attenuation constant also is high. So how much that wave is going to travel such mediums? When we consider the medium of is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In between call came, so I asked. Yeah. So when this wave is going to travel in a good conductor, so alpha is also very high. So how much that wave is going to propagate, or it is going to attenuate that particular material. So that is we have to calculate what will be the attenuation constant, how much is going to travel, and then we need to see that what is that phase shift, how much is going to execute that phase shift into the such materials. Now we are considering electric field in the x-axis. So Ex is equal to, so that having waveform amplitude Em plus in the positive z direction, and then which we are considering attenuation constant, that is e to the power of minus alpha into z, and then e to the power of minus j into beta into z. So this exponentially we have to take that form of the completely in wave equation, that is e minus alpha z, which is real function, then e minus j into beta z, which is a imaginary function. Okay, by having these two things, we can say that so there is a large attenuation to the such mediums here. Will be having very amplitude also very high. Okay, so amplitude also very high. So now you can see that that waveform, once it is reaching to the such mediums, once that wave is travels to the that medium, so that amplitude will be become like this up to here. This is amplitude, that is em amplitude. Okay, the such waveforms here. Now further, if it is travels into the medium, so it is going to reduces that amplitude, it is going to reduces the amplitude, because exponentially it is going to decay it, that is it is going to reduces further. So how much it is going to reduce this, how much it is going to reduce this, so how much that wave is going to travel into such mediums. Okay, now let us take this that function only by considering this equation. by considering this equation, which having, if I let me take completely this slide, okay, which having this waveform, if at z equal to 0, if you put it in this equation, okay, so at z equal to 0, that means at 0 position on the wave travels, then ex is equal to, that is maximum amplitude, we can see it at this level, okay, so that is em place. So em place will be having amplitude of this much. Now after wave travels with a some distance d, okay, after wave travels in a some a distance with d, that is in a conductor, so in a like silver, copper or aluminum, in whichever material we are going to consider it. So after travels this waveform to the such medium, that is z equal to d, z equal to d, if it travels distance with z equal to d. Now you can substitute this z equal to d in this equation, then that time your amplitude will become em plus e to the power of minus alpha into d, e to the power of minus alpha into d. Anyway, imaginary function let us consider later, okay, so we'll take only real part. So after considering at z equal to d, that amplitude em plus e to the power of minus alpha into d, so further it is going to reduces. So at distance z equal to d, the amplitude is reduced become e to the power of minus alpha into d, so this much is going to reduce, okay. Now if I keep as a d equal to 1 by alpha, okay, so d equal to 1 by alpha, that means you can see this graph, d equal to 1 by alpha, so in medium when it is travels here up to delta with a distance d here, so d equal to 1 by alpha. Now if I put in this equation d equal to 1 by alpha, so alpha alpha get cancelled, so I will become exponential will have the e to the power of minus 1, so e to the power of minus 1 is nothing but 0.368, 0.368. So in a medium, that is wave travels to the any medium with at z equal to d, that is going to travel that distance d, it will reduce as 37%. It will reduce that 37% of its original value. Okay, that amplitude is going to reduce 37% of its original value. So this further it is not going to reduce at all. So if I consider this at distance 2 alpha, that is 2 alpha, so what will become, it will further, it is almost going to reaching to 0, that waveform wave is going to reaching to the 0. Now if I consider 2 delta and 3 delta and so on, okay, so which is nothing but where alpha is equal to 1 by delta, alpha is equal to 1 by delta. So if I take 2 delta, 3 delta, 4 delta, so it almost going to reaching to the, that is 0 here completely. So finally we can say that here, when wave travels to the such mediums as a good conductor, so it will reaches to up to 37% only. 37%, that is a maximum approximately as a its original value. Further it is going to reduces completely 0. So this process will call it as a skin depth or skin depth penetration, or we can call it as skin effect. So this function we are going to call it as skin depth or depth of penetration. Okay, so you can see this here definition, the distance through with the amplitude of the traveling wave decreases to 37% of the original amplitude is called as skin depth or depth of penetration. So this we are going to denote as delta, this where skin depth is going to denote as delta here. So where delta is either 1 by alpha or equal to 1 by beta. Okay, so phase shift or that is attenuation constant. So this much is going to reduces here. Okay, so you can write alpha is nothing but 1 by under root of pi f mu sigma. So we have seen that, that is previous slide, which having alpha for a good conductor. Okay, that slide. Okay, so which we have calculated for the alpha. So alpha is equal to, for good conductor, pi f mu sigma, and then beta also pi f mu sigma. Okay, so it is frequency and then conductivity is directly proportional to here. So now which we are taking now alpha, that is delta depth penetration, or skin depth, which is delta is equal to 1 by alpha, which also equal to 1 by beta. So this one 1 by under root of pi f mu sigma. This is skin depth or depth penetration. Okay, so this is important. And then which is we are going to have, this one is where we are using this as a good conductor. Now if you take that one example, that is cable, coaxial cable. So inner conductor and then outer conductor. So outer conductor completely it will be shielded with like having aluminum, copper or silver, because it is good conductor. Okay, so if we consider that, and if you seal outside of the conductor, so in inner conductor is going to carry that completely signals, which is we are receiving that having any transmission signals, or if you consider radio signals or any other thing. Okay, so that inner conductor completely carrying that signals, and then outer conductor is going to completely seal it. So any outside of the disturbances, if any external side, some disturbance if it is occur, so that time once it is going to have the disturbances, that outer shield, which after shielding this conductor, it has to travel that wave up to 37% only. It is going to travel that 37% only. Further, it will anyway, further it is going to reduce the completely zero. So it will not disturb to the inner conductor at all. That's why we'll be using outside of the conductor completely with a good conductivity. With a good conductivity. So because any external side, if it is having any interference, that is disturbances or some other fault or any things is going to have, so it is not going to disturb to the inner conductor at all. Okay. This effect will be always using for any of the sealing cable, or we where we are using for transmission lines, that underground cables. So inner conductor will always carry that current, and outer conductor completely will be sealed. Due to this effect, we'll be using as a good conductor. So for this reason, we'll call it as good conductor. So that is skin depth. And why it is called it going to consider as skin effect? That skin effect which we are shielding this is going to consider complete as a thin layer. So thin layer, so which outside of the shielding, which is going to have that thin layer. Because of this thin layer, which that have that any disturbances, that wave is going to travel up to 37% only. After it will reach completely zero. So that's why it is we'll call it as skin effect. That surface which we are considering as a thin layer of the outside conductor. Okay. I think this is a clear hope about the good conductor and skin that is having a depth of penetration. Okay. If you are having any doubt on this, you can ask. Or else I will be moving further topic. That remaining we can calculate that velocity, intrinsic impedance in terms of the having skin depth, which is delta, that is 1 by sigma delta plus j into 1 by sigma into delta. So you can write a further simplification equation here. That is intrinsic impedance. And velocity also you can calculate in terms of the skin depth, which is velocity omega by beta, omega under root of beta, which having pi f mu sigma. So further simplification, I have done it numerator and denominator, which I have multiplied with root 2 and root 2. And this root and square, if I cancel, same thing, I will get omega here. So I can write this is the root, and then root 2 under root omega square here. So if I take this completely equation, into root. So I will get 2 omega mu and sigma, which also equal to the omega into delta here. And lambda you can take completely, that is wavelength. Lambda is equal to 2 pi by beta, which is 2 pi delta in meter. So this is a wave that is going to have that completely good conductor. So up to this one, for any of the medium, that wave is going to travel. So once that uniform plane wave is going to travel any of the medium, need to be find out what will be the velocity, and what will be the attenuation constant, propagation constant, then phase constant, intrinsic impedance, and then finally is wavelength. So all this will be going to depends that once that wave is going to travel for any of the mediums. Okay. So by having these four concepts, so they may ask any problems on this one. Okay. You have to remember only one thing is your that conditions of all the mediums which we are considering. Okay. So if you remember that four conditions, that conductivity, okay, so you can simplify that further into problems. And then other last concept in this module is pointing vector or pointing theorem. This is the last topic into this module, which is having a pointing vector and pointing theorem, and this is very important. Okay, so this pointing vector and pointing theorem is very important. So you can see that for any of the previous year question papers, definitely this question must and should. So this which we are discussed now completely, that final we can see that that is power, considering electric field and then magnetic field. Okay, considering electric field and magnetic field, that is energy transmitted from one medium to the other medium. So which that we are receiving the signals or receiving the power, that we'll call it as a power wave. So here the pointing vector, how it came, that depends on from the pointing vector, which is that described completely that English physicist John. That name of the English physicist John, and he has put that name as pointing vector. He has put that name as pointing vector as a power. Okay, so that's why it named it called as a pointing vector. So before going to this pointing vector and pointing theorem, let us take that which we are considering that electric field and then magnetic field. So I have taken here power is equal to. So you can take that product of electric field and then magnetic field. So electric field, which is having that unit is volt per meter, then magnet field, which is having unit is Henry per ampere per meter. Now if I take that both product, so we'll use that is volt ampere per meter square. Volt ampere per meter square, which is nothing but as a power that is going to travel into the any of the circuit or any of the medium that is going to travel that power. So that is unit power is going to travel any of the area. So here you can take that both product, either dot product or cross product. So if you consider the dot product, what will happen? And if you consider the cross product, what will happen? So power is a scalar or vector quantity it is. Power is a vector quantity. It will be having that direction. It will be having that direction. Okay. So now if I consider as a dot product of between electric field and then magnetic field. So if I take in same direction electric field and magnetic field. Okay. So electric field we are considering as a x direction, and then magnet field if we consider as a y direction. So if I consider as a both dot product, what will become? It will get it as result as 0. Okay. If I consider as in a dot product. Now if I consider as a cross product, that is E cross H bar. Okay. So now if I consider as a cross product, electric field in x-axis and magnet field in the y-axis. So I will get it as cross product both. You can see that if you put electric field in x-axis and then magnet field in the y-axis. Now if I take that both the things, electric field and magnet field as a cross, will get it that power is going to travel any of the area which having that in z direction, which having in the z direction, which is ex h by a cap z, which equal to that having power is going to travel in the z direction. Okay, so this is the main power that is having pointing vector and pointing theorem. Not pointing vector, this one is not pointing theorem, we'll discuss pointing theorem later. So this is electric field propagate any of the free space. Now if I consider that electric field in x-axis, that is real function, which having em cos omega t minus beta z a cap x, and then h, which is having magnet field cos omega t minus beta z. So in free space, which having intrinsic impedance as 377 ohm, and which is also equal to the ratio of electric field and then magnetic field. So now if I substitute this ratio of the intrinsic impedance to the magnet field, which I will get Em by eta naught, which is having in the y direction. So if I take this completely, both electric field and magnetic field, okay, so before that one, so this is our power in and power out. So power in and power out, that is power is going to travel any of the area which is how considered in the completely one volume, which having ohmic losses into this volume. So in terms of the ohmic losses, and then having stored in a stored electric field that is having parallel plates, and then stored magnetic energy in a inductor, that is windings, which we are going to considering that completely winding, that is stored magnetic field. So which having this, after storing this electrical energy and then magnetic energy and some of the losses, will give that power out, that power in and then power out. So this is our pointing, that is power which is going to flows into the any of the value. Okay, so now let us take that this completely as a mathematical expression, how it's going to take. Now after taking this ex and ay, ax and ay into that having x direction and y direction, if you take these two cross product, we'll get it power as em square eta naught cos square omega t minus beta z a cap z, that is watt per meter square. So this power is going to travel into such mediums here. Okay, so this is a power general thing, that is power going to have that in vector form. Now let us take the pointing theorem. Pointing theorem. So this pointing theorem is from Maxwell equations, that is with respect to the time varying fields. Okay, so from that Maxwell equation I can write in terms of electric field and as well as magnetic field. So electric field, and we can write it as magnetic field. So from the Maxwell equation, the del cross E bar is equal to minus dou B bar by dou T, which equal to, if I write in terms of the magnetic field, mu into dou H bar by dou T. Similar way, I can write magnetic field, which is having a current density, that sigma into E bar plus epsilon into dou E bar by dou T. So this one is conduction current, and then this one is displacement current, which is epsilon dou E bar by dou T. Now by having this one, let me take equation which is taking both side equation, that is dotting off with E bar. Okay, so let me take about this equation of having del cross H bar equal to dou sigma E bar plus sigma epsilon into dou E bar by dou T. Now if I take for this equation both side dotting with E bar. So now if I multiply with both side, E bar dot del cross H bar equal to E bar dot sigma into E bar plus E bar dot epsilon into dou E bar by dou T. Multiply completely as a E bar dot above this equation both side. Now if I go further simplification of this equation, which having E bar dot del cross H bar is equal to E bar sigma into E bar plus E bar plus epsilon into dou E bar by dou T. Let us take this equation as 1. Now I can write that vector identity, that having divergence, that is del dot A bar cross B bar, which equal to B bar dot del cross A vector minus A vector dot del cross B bar. Okay. So now if I apply the vector identity with taking A vector as E bar and then B vector as H bar. Now if I put this A vector as E bar and B vector as H bar into vector identity, so I will get del dot E vector cross H bar equal to, so about this equation we can substitute here in this equation. Okay. So H bar dot del cross E bar minus E bar del cross H bar. So now from equation 1, so from this equation 1, I can write which having completely in terms of the H bar dot del cross E bar. So from this equation, I need it here E bar dot del cross H bar. So E bar dot del cross H bar, if I take to this side, I can write H bar dot del cross E bar minus del dot E bar cross H bar. So I have substituted here, okay, into this equation. So remaining equation that having equal to the E bar dot sigma E bar plus E bar of epsilon dou E bar by dou t. The remaining equation here. Okay. Now you can multiply into this E bar dot into this equation, that sigma E bar dot E bar in the same direction we will get it as E square plus here E bar dot epsilon dou E bar by dou t. We can keep it as it is. Now let us take this equation as 2. Now, from this equation, equation 2, from this equation, let us take it separate. Now, from this equation, let consider first term left side, which is this one, H bar dot del cross E bar, which is this side having equation. So I can write H bar dot. So del cross E bar is nothing but which from the Maxwell equation minus mu into dou H bar by dou t, which equal to minus mu H bar dot. So you can take constant minus mu outside, you get H bar dot dou H bar by dou t. Then further equation I can simplify that. Here a mathematical equation is going to involve, that is rate of change of with respect to the time of electric field with dot product having both magnet field, that is dou by dou t H bar dot H bar. So we can write it H bar dot dou H bar by dou t plus H bar dot dou H bar by dou t, like UV equation, partial differential equation as UV. Now similar way I can write this, therefore I can write this dou by dou t H square equal to, okay, so dou by dou t H square equal to, so 2 into H bar dot dou H bar by dou t. Either you can take this or this one or this one, both are same one. So I can write, therefore I can write half into, so I have taken this side, how this 2 into left hand side. So half into dou by dou t H square equal to H bar dot dou H bar by dou t. So this is in magnetic field. A similar way you can write it in the electric field. Half into dou by dou t E square equal to E bar plus dou E bar by dou t. Now, after considering this equation assumptions, now you can take that from equation 2 and substitute here, which is H bar dot del cross E bar is nothing but minus mu into H bar dot dou H bar by dou t. Okay, so I can write this function completely, H bar dot dou H bar by dou t, okay, which is from the Maxwell equation, minus del dot E bar cross H bar is equal to sigma E square plus, so you can write E bar dot dou E bar by dou t. E bar dot dou E bar by dou t is nothing but half into dou by dou t into E square. You can put it in this equation. So we'll write it half here, having epsilon is constant. You can put into completely in this equation here. So we'll get epsilon by 2 dou by dou t epsilon square, that E square. Then further also you can write same thing having magnetic field. So magnetic field H bar dot dou H bar by dou t. So I can write mu by 2, mu is constant here, and half into dou bar by dou t H square you can write in this equation. So we'll get dou by dou t H square minus del dot E bar cross H bar will get equal to sigma into E square plus which is having other electric field. Now you can take completely as a right hand side with having magnet field here. So now I can write minus del dot E bar cross H bar is equal to sigma into E square plus half into dou by dou t mu H square plus epsilon into E square. Okay. Now you can see it here, which having minus del E bar cross H bar is what? Power. That is P vector. That is wave is going to travel in the z direction. E bar cross H bar is power here. So you can write putting that equation as E bar cross H bar is equal to minus del dot P bar, which equal to sigma into E square plus half into dou by dou t mu into H square plus epsilon into E square. Now this is your pointing vector and pointing theorem. So now I can write pointing vector. This is in point form. Now you can see this one is our ohmic losses. Sigma into E square is nothing but as a ohmic losses. Then energy stored in a electrostatic field and as well as magnetostatic field, which is half into the rate of change of stored in a magnetic field, which is mu into H square, and plus stored in electric field, which is epsilon into E square. That is having that del dot P bar vector here. And here minus indicating is that is power is flowing into that surface, that unit area. Okay, that minus indicating is that power is going to decrease in that value, which is I have shown that figure. That figure is you can see it. Okay, so this one is, so completely power is going to flowing into this area, that is reducing ohmic losses, and then energy stored in the electrostatic, energy stored in a magnetostatic. So these combinedly three ohmic losses, and then that power is going to reduces, that is indicating as minus. So you can see that that function for the okay. So this is pointing vector. Now that power is completely flowing into the area. If I want to calculate that power overall, so I can integrate that power volume, that is energy. I will get it as that minus volume del dot P bar into dV, which is equal to having a volume integration sigma into E square dV, and plus the rate of change of having that integration of into mu H square plus epsilon into E square into dV. Okay, so this is completely that having that value which power is flowing to that area. Okay, so that power is flowing into that area. Now applying the divergence theorem. So divergence theorem, we know that surface integral equal to the volume integration. So if I take that overall the surface, that so power is going to flow into that closed area, that is closed surface P bar dot ds, which equal to having that ohmic losses, and then electric field, stored electric field and magnet field energies, that is into that surface, and here minus indicating that power is flowing into the value. Now if I want to calculate power coming out, power is coming out, so that is power flowing out of the value, so I can take minus this one to the right hand side. So I can calculate that overall that power is flowing out, that is minus of the volume integration sigma E square dV, and minus rate of change of that stored energy in electrostatic and as well as magnetostatic. So this is your pointing theorem, and this one is very very important, and they are repeatedly they are giving in the examination. Okay, so I think up to here is completely the derivation part is module 5. I think all topics covered into this module 5. So remaining problems are there, so those problems will see that some next two classes. Okay, and then we'll do that any repetition if you want it further